Hello, Cleveland. Welcome to a special episode of Too Much Effing Perspective. I'm Alan Keller.
And I'm Alex Hoffman. Today, we swerve out of our lane as comedy music podcast hosts and crash straight into the flashing warning sign that says politics.
But, to be frank, we're not exactly taking a road we haven't taken before. I mean, we endorsed someone during the election.
That's true. And there's also a timely reason for it.
Right. A few weeks ago, I was taking an online songwriting course, not that I need it, at the wonderful School of Song. And the guest teacher was one of the most influential producers in the history of music, Brian Eno, who gave weekly lectures, answered our questions, and actually doled out assignments.
Wasn't Eno also in Roxy Music?
He was.
Wow. So in other words, you've been working with one of your favorite artists, is that right?
That's true. And I love his solo work as well. But, he is a unique producer in that he really does leave an imprint on the bands he works with. And some are bands that have a time-tested, successful strategy, like U2, Achtung Baby was an Eno production. It was far different from what they had done before that.
Wow, I didn't know that.
You know that, but he also, he worked with Bowie.
Yeah.
And if you listen to Eno's work from the early 70s, you can hear how that influenced Bowie in the mid 70s. And I just have to say, he worked on probably my favorite album ever, Fear of Music, which is immortalized in a tattoo on my arm. That's a Talking Heads album from, I think, 1979. That's absolutely extraordinary.
And thanks to you, I know that he also worked with Coldplay, Devo. Yeah, he's absolutely a legend.
Yeah, he is. And it was a really cool class. And so every week, as I said, we'd get assignments. And one week, our assignment was get off the internet for a week. We were supposed to put our phones away. We were supposed to put everything away and crawl back into the hole of history. I didn't do that, but we also had a songwriting assignment, which was to write a revolutionary song that addresses the current political crisis. Because let's face it, other than a few exceptions, popular artists have not exactly fought the power like Bob Dylan, the MC5, CSN, CCR, and others did during the 60s and the Vietnam War.
Well, we could also cite Public Enemy and Rage Against the Machine and others beyond that time. But yeah, I mean, just look at how Snoop Dogg did a complete about face a few weeks ago and played an inauguration party.
I know, it's just...
Probably alongside a T-Mobile ad he was doing.
That was really humiliating for him, I think. But these artists are, I don't know if it's fear or greed or both, but many have chosen to remain silent or worse, to collaborate with what's going on here. And I'm being intentionally vague, but when it comes to writing a meaningful, important song on par with NWA's F the Police or John Fogerty's Fortunate Son, I drew a big blank.
You got an F?
Well, there's F and effing, right? So of course I would get an
right.
F, but let's just say I cannot crank out a great song in a week. It's just not how I work, and it's probably takes me a decade now. But while I was struggling to write something new, I suddenly remembered that my band Happiless put out a very prescient song, if I may say so myself, in 2015 called Hopscotch Town, which is on our one and only eponymously entitled album. And Hopscotch Town is about what happens when governments try to get people to give up their rights in exchange for economic prosperity or cheaper eggs.
Well, let me ask you this. You're mentioning Happiless. Our listeners for years have been hearing you talk about being the lead singer of the least heralded Chicago band, the Falling Melendez. What the heck is Happiless?
Right. Well, about 2014, a good friend of mine and a great songwriter, Mike Stefaniak from Milwaukee, told me he wanted to write an album with me. So I was in LA, he was in Milwaukee, and we worked and exchanged songs over email and eventually came out with an album. And that album is called Happiless, Happiless, which you can also find on the services. But yeah, at the time I wrote Hopscotch Town, I kind of wrote it with another country in mind, but it looks like the country that we live in is gravitating closer to what the message Hopscotch Town is trying to convey. So when I thought that, I sent it to you and I said, Alex, what do you think of this?
Yeah. Hey, it sounds amazing. It's cool to hear the backstory actually on how these songs came together, because it doesn't sound like it was done by a band that was exchanging tracks over the internet, but that's welcome to 2015.
Well, can I plug the people? Because it was a pretty damn good band. I worked with Scott Bennett, who was with Brian Wilson. I worked with Brian Young, was on drums, and he's with Fountains of Wayne. Brett Simons, who played with Fiona Apple. and Danny Schaefer, who's the hidden treasure guitar player, I think, in the world in Chicago and has a studio, Velvet Shirt. He helped put it together, as did Shane Solaski, who's given us some of the best stories we ever had on Quick Taps on Too Much Effing Perspective.
Yeah. So going back to Hopscotch Town, old chum, it feels right for the time. And I'm glad we're taking this opportunity to share the song.
So at the risk of being thrown in a gulag, or worse, sounding self-important, please, listeners, gift us a few minutes of your time and listen to Hopscotch Town by Happiless. And as I said, you can find the entire album on most streaming platforms. That's Happiless. It's got a blue album cover designed by my gorgeous and talented wife, Lois, and that should pop up as well so you know what you're looking for.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear what you think of this song. It's been a while since we've put some of our original music into a TMEP episode, so drop us a line if you have thoughts or comments. You can reach us at hello@tmepshow.com.
Yes.
Or you can slide into our DMs on Instagram at tmepshow.
And don't forget to crank this one up to 11 because Scott put a guitar solo in there that I think is epic.
Here's Hopscotch Town by Alan and Mike Stefaniak's band Happiless on the TMEP Show.
Very Casey Kasem of you, Alex. Thanks very much.
In Hopscotch Town, our new downtown is safe and sound, the cleanest in the nation, an ideal vacation. In Hopscotch Town, our stores abound with jewels and gowns. You'll give in to temptation, and there's no taxation. This world is yours for the taking. This world is yours. In Hopscotch Town, cameras and sound are all around. They blend into the landscape. Smile, you are on tape. In Hopscotch Town, the lights astound. The music drowns the sounds of gavels and chains and the outgoing trains. This world is yours for the taking. This world is yours. You'll find lots of deals in Hopscotch Town. Enjoy the finest meals in Hopscotch Town. In Hopscotch Town, two girls were found, gagged and bound, but don't let that deter you. We've lifted the curfew. This world is yours for the taking. This world is yours. There's so much to do in Hopscotch Town. Hopscotch Town. All just like you in Hopscotch Town. This is where your dreams are made if you can sleep at all. This is where your dreams are made if you can sleep at all. This is where your dreams are made if you can sleep at all. This is where your dreams are made if you can sleep at all. This is where your dreams are made if you can sleep at all.
Evergreen Podcast Network.